So I come here every day after work and typically play with a different person each day of the week.
The people that I play with are all improvising musicians.
Every time you start, you kind of build what you're doing from nothing.
Nowadays, even school children would have workshops here related to music.
There's a great lack of bureaucracy involved. There's a certain freedom about it.
When we meet here, it's quite a mutual place.
Give them the key and we just say, do whatever you want.
It was originally just meant to be a kind of exercise in material experimentation, open construction, and about trying to make accessible processes that meant that anyone could come on and get involved.
At the beginning, I saw this group of volunteers coming in and out, getting really dirty, very happy, and I just feel like I need to join that crew.
There is something really extraordinary about a group of people doing something collectively that none of them really know how to do.
I'd done a lot of self-building, but many years ago, so that was fantastic.
We're trying to think about ways of using the resources of the site to construct a space. We ran like a series of workshops on the site, testing out different ways of using earth and rubble together. We finally settled on this earth bag construction.
I really enjoyed that we were actually using the material that we found on site.
Just get hands dirty, use your hands. Another way of celebrating what you can do.
My name won't be on anywhere in this building, and that doesn't matter. It's just being a part of it that is the kind of reward.
We hung chicken wire off the top of where the roof beam is, and that kind of hangs down outside of the bags, and then there's like a layer of more cement, and then we're using white cement to like apply the rubble. We call it rubble dash, homage to Kel Dash. Well, rubble is like bits of material waste from demolitions, so it's a concrete, it's a brick, it's a stone. Quite an interesting material to work with because it's like got a really rich texture.
It's quite a meditative process. Little pieces of rock, one by one. Grey, brown, some is more like brick-like red, dark. You can play with everything.
Some people are very meticulous with placing each one in, and so you get like kind of build-up of different people's kind of approach to construction.
Sometimes it's like, oh, could go a bit more dense. It's like,
There was no automatic sense of authority.
we were doing something together in the process.
Great relationships, which I have still. It was a really good time.
It didn't feel like, since I didn't know anything about constructing a building, that I would have less impact or anything. It felt like we were all equally responsible and equally part of the project.
There's a lot of analogy between the architectural process and the sound design and production process. The crossover between plan, structure, preparation and the moment.
We didn't really have any money for proper installation, for warmth nor for acoustics, so despite having these very solid walls, you still also feel like you're outside in the city.
It's quite unusual. It's kind of a sense of connections.
When you're in here, you can hear people walking by. Quite often you'll hear music from the church next door. You'll hear the street noises, vehicles. You can hear birds pattering about on the roof.
You've got enough enclosure and enough separation to feel that it's a space, an open space for you to do what you like. But you're very, very connected with everything.
Most of the places designed to play instruments are hermetic in many different ways, in that they're not exposed to natural light or the elements in quite the way you're.
As still a lot of friendships that cross over from that time, and some of them kind of loop into the space more regularly than others, and some kind of sparked off collaborations which then have evolved over the course of its use. When it was built, because we thought it was only going to be here for 2 years, I hadn't really anticipated how important it would be to people, that it had become a central point to the practice of a lot of musicians working in Otto.
It doesn't belong to anyone, it's everyone's.
That means a lot to me, that it can be something which has really enabled people to work in a way that maybe they wouldn't have been able to do without it.
If I've met people in the main space, we'll meet here the next week to play.
And because it has existed for a longer period of time now, those relationships just get stronger and stronger. People have added like felt kind of hangings for more insulation, and wall panels for projections and hanging exhibitions.
There's another skin on the outside of the roof now where the original plywood deteriorated.
This is insulation. These strings you can see are meant to kind of open and close all of these flaps.
We designed the roof with different panels which individually kind of hinge down as a means of allowing more ventilation in space.
Getting too hot was not a problem. Being cold was the big problem, and letting in too much sound from the exterior.
They've been filled in with various things, like expanding foam and small bags.
A lot of edging of those flaps to try and stop them from leaking any air in the winter. And now there's a small ritual when the seasons change from they're drilled shut in the winter, and then in the summer those screws are released, the air starts circulating again. I really like the ever-evolving nature of the space because people are making it their own.
I like how this building had brought so many people together.
Making something constructive out of derelict, abandoned land, something that was small scale and community organised in the face of big anonymous corporate development all around London.
A lot of vernacular construction often uses the material around in the nearby area. Kind of the space feels like it's kind of grown out of the site. This could be potentially a different form of construction to create things which speak more of the landscape in which they've been formed.